The implementation of ICD-10 in your practice will be heavily dependent upon the successful implementation by your vendors of ICD-10 in their world. To that end, there are two fundamental risks that you need to address. One is an inadequate vendor inventory. In other words, you don't know which vendors have to do what associated with ICD-10. And two, that the vendors who need to have a successful implementation in their hardware, software, or processes are not successful. To that end, we've developed 6 mitigation factors that we hope will get you started on making sure your vendors do not become the critical path to a successful ICD-10 implementation. First, you need to do an inventory of your vendors. Who is providing what software, hardware, processes, etc., that will be changed as a result of implementing ICD-10. If you don't have an accurate list, then you will miss something. Item 2, you need to have a plan for how to interface with the vendors. What are their dates? What are their checkpoints? What are their milestones? So that your in-office implementation plan can be synchronized with the vendor implementation plan. Third, you need to have a regular schedule to communicate with the vendors and make sure that the communication is forthright if they're falling behind. Fourth, if things aren't going well, if you're getting a lot of excuses, you need to act forcefully and quickly to cut your losses. A plan that is going badly is not a good plan. Fifth, have a plan B. If vendor number 1 is failing, be prepared to shift to vendor number 2. Sixth and finally is a culture of interdependence. Your success should be their success, and their success should be your success. So work closely at a cultural level with your vendors. As part of your risk mitigation strategy for vendors, we've developed a series of questions that will be helpful in framing the discussion with your vendors. Do you have fully functional, compliant products and services ready in time to allow for thorough ICD-10 testing? How are you going to help me avoid potential reimbursement issues and interruptions to my workflow? Will you be notifying me of system upgrades and replacements needed to accommodate ICD-10? What are the costs involved, and will upgrades be covered by existing contracts? When will upgrades or new systems be available for testing and implementation? What kind of customer support and training will you provide? How will your products and services accommodate both ICD-9 and ICD-10 as you work with claims for services provided both before and after transition to the new code sets? Can we set up regular check-in meetings to keep progress on track? Who will be the primary contact at your organization for the ICD-10 transition? Can my practice send test claims with ICD-10 codes to see if they are accepted? If so, when will you begin accepting test claims? Do products give you the ability to search for codes by the ICD-10 alphabetic and tabular indices, by clinical concept?